Welcome back to West Texas View.
Welcome back to the West Texas View. I'm Johnny Lou Avery, and this is Dr. Melinda Morris, who has been so gracious to come and talk about some of the problems that women face as they are going through the menopausal years. And I didn't realize that there was that much variance in it. And for me, it was a really simple process. I'm one of those kind that just kind of came up and stopped. But I did know that there were a lot of things happening, even though it wasn't causing me any problem. There were a lot of things that happened. For example, my hair began to get really dull and changed colors from a bright auburn to almost a dull yellow. But by and large, it was a pretty easy time. But when someone comes into you and you've got a list of all of these symptoms, and it's just amazing how many you have here. And so when a woman fills that out, many times she doesn't realize that she's saying, I've got this, this, and this, and you're saying those are all menopausal related.
Yeah, you know, I'll have women come in and they think they've got 5 or 6 different diseases going on. They're tired.
I'm falling apart.
They're falling apart. They're tired. They can't sleep. They're moody. They're having crying spells. Their energy levels have dropped down. They've got foggy thinking. They can't remember things anymore. I mean, a good sign is when you've got sticky notes all over the house. You've got some memory issues that are beginning there. So, they come in very concerned, what's going on with me? I'm totally falling apart. My husband told me to come in. My husband said, fix me. These are the kind of issues that women will present with. And so I spend a lot of time just educating them that, the symptoms they're experiencing are normal. They're not imagining them. They're not crazy. It's not in their head. They're real symptoms. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is a list of symptoms.
That is a huge list.
Yes, and I actually have these ladies fill these out, and some of them laugh because they've checked off every box. But what it does is it's listing symptoms of estrogen deficiency or estrogen excess, progesterone deficiency, and then the male hormone deficiencies. And then it's also looking at adrenal function and thyroid function. Women make 3 major sex hormones: estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. In the news and the media, you primarily just hear about estrogen for women. But progesterone is equally important, and estrogen and progesterone work together, and they keep us in balance. And around age 35 to the late 30s, the first hormone that starts to decline is progesterone. And women start noticing changes because of that decline in progesterone. And progesterone is, they call it progesterone because it's the hormone that maintains pregnancies. But it's very important for women. And when progesterone levels start to decline, that's when the PMS symptoms become a little bit worse, because progesterone has a calming effect, and it's a natural diuretic.
So when that decreases, you don't have any
the irritability, the irritability, the anxiety, the swelling, the bloating, that sort of thing. There's a whole list of symptoms that are just related to progesterone deficiency, and those are actually the first symptoms that women start to experience when the hormone levels start to change. And then they're at this time, they're still making plenty of estrogen. So they're actually in what's called an estrogen dominant state. Lots of estrogen, not enough progesterone to balance it out, because our bodies were designed for estrogen and progesterone to be in balance. And once that balance starts to shift, that's when all these symptoms start to develop. So actually in the early 40s, women are more in an estrogen dominant state. And what's happening there is it's causing weight gain, it's causing water retention, it's causing their cycles to become heavier, lasting longer, more frequent. It can impact the thyroid function. They become a lot more irritable, anxiety. So all these symptoms are actually starting to develop because of that hormone imbalance.
So when a woman comes to you and fills out this, and she checks hot flashes, night sweats, foggy thinking, and headaches, then you pretty much can target that as being an estrogen
Yeah,
problem.
and
then she checks.
that's an estrogen deficiency problem. So then, over the course of time, as those estrogen levels also begin to fall, then that's when the hot flushes develop, the foggy thinking, the memory loss, fatigue, tearfulness, the headaches, the hair loss, and change in libido, sexual desire starts to change. So a lot of the symptoms that present give me some idea of where the hormone balance is, and then we do blood work too to confirm that. But I have some ladies that'll check off every box on the sheet, and I say, okay, let's see how many of those symptoms we can improve. And the good news is that there are some options for women these days. Years ago when my mother went through the change, there weren't a lot of options, and that was back in the day where women had nervous breakdowns. You remember those days? And unfortunately, Valium was the main medication to get women through the change. And thank goodness we've got so many options for women these days. They don't have to suffer like my mother suffered and her generation suffered, and we actually have some options.
And that affects the whole family. We're not just talking about the woman, but the whole family is in turmoil.
Yes, because when mom can't function, that affects everybody at home. And I've had professional women come in, that are still having to work in the corporate world. They're competing with 20 and 30-year-olds at the workplace, and they'll say, listen, I need some help. I can't remember like I used to. I don't have the energy that I need to. I'm having difficulty competing at work. So this affects their productivity as well.
And one of the things that we also have an improvement is you don't just take estrogen anymore. You take a combination of estrogen and progesterone, or estrogen.
Well, you want to maintain that same balance that your body was originally designed for. And then the testosterone, the male hormone, we have testosterone as well. We just don't have as much as the men do, but that also has a lot of health benefits, and that gradually declines over time as well. So depending on, where their deficiencies are and where their imbalance is, if you correct those deficiencies, then you can reverse a lot of those symptoms that are on that sheet. And they're just amazed, how well they can feel again.
We're going to have to take another break, but we're going to come back here and continue with this checkoff list in just a minute. We'll see you after the break.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.